Hey there everybody, what's up? It's Truman here with the highest voted aircraft from the list that I gave you all, the P51 Mustang. Not our replay, my arcade play. We're playing Ground Strike on Green Ridge, which I'm already not excited because it's Ground Strike. And I'm in a P51 with no bombs, no rockets. Which means basically all I have is the 50 cal strafe with. So it means I'm trying to figure out, do I want to go ahead and climb to 12,000 feet? Or do I want to go ahead and just strafe like a row, like over to the left, over on the other side of that mountain, just strafe the AAA and the artillery emplacements and whatever vehicles I can. But before I did that, I decided, let's bring up the team menus and see who all's in bombers. When you see that many enemy bombers on the other team on a Ground Strike map, it's time to climb up and try to cut them off. Unfortunately, you'll see the unfortunate part in a minute, the bombers decided we're going to go from 13,000 feet down to about 4,000, which makes them easy targets. And it's right about this time I'm starting to wonder that exact thing. Are they up high, or did they dive? Because looking at the way their fighters are, kind of makes me think they went ahead and dived down. And seeing that Wellington over there at only 11,000 feet makes me believe they did dive. I started to target this bomber and noticed that there were 3 or 4 over there. So I decided to go for the 3 or 4 and try to at least force them down, or make them miss dropping their bombs. Which worked and didn't work. Because there's 3 or 4 of them, there's one of me. And that ME-410 isn't really a bomber, it's more of a ground attack aircraft. And there goes one teammate. Got in the head on. You never get in the head on. Actually, I braked there a little bit. And there was, you can see in the video, there was a few lag spikes. But, the arcade flight model, you can just throw these things around the sky like they're nothing. And I'm amazed that, the AI gunners didn't knock me out of the air there. But keep an eye out for that guy in the ME-410. Because there's more than one variant of the 410. And he comes back with vengeance. Hard. So now I see the HS-129. So I'm deciding, couldn't be too hard to get rid of him. Which, critical hit, and there goes his wing control, or his elevator. And let's follow him down and make sure, and he's gone. And I don't know how I got Shadow Strike 2, because I know that ME-410 really knew I was on him, considering we were dogfighting. Fokker Wolf 190 started to chase him and realized there are bigger, better things to go after. Like this AAA who's deciding to have a go at me. We can't have that. Let's get rid of him. Here's where the P51 turns into a ground attack aircraft. Oh, almost got shot down the ram there. Now we become ground attack. Now we become damaging the ground. Got an assist on that yak that I put 2 rounds in. Pillbox, not really gonna hurt it. Artillery or AAA, let's get rid of them. And basically this is what happens in most of the games, because you need to get those belts, or those 12 mil or 12.7 mil offensive belt loadouts before this thing really becomes any good. And this is probably about the best way to get them. It's just going after ground targets, because the standard belts can't really do much. And this actually has the ground target belt, which is a mixture of armor piercing incendiary, tracer, and I think it's 2 or 3 more API. But I've dealt with the ground targets what I can. So now I'm thinking, okay, let's go towards the middle, towards Battleship Row over there. If they've got anything capable of dropping bombs or torpedoes, I'll try to go after it. And like I did before, either focus them down where they can't do anything, or at least make them go evasive and miss. Easier said than done. Let's see. It's been a few days since I recorded this, so I'm trying to catch up on what I did as well. Because this was recorded probably the same day the vote ended. And this is 4 days after. So these videos are kind of new to me, just like they are you. Yeah, had post commentary for this, and right before the post commentary saved, right as the video saved, my computer crashed. And here, I do like I said, which is never get in a head-to-head, because this is the J87, one of the D's models that has the wing-mounted 20s, and I so should have died there. Yeah, go after the Spitfire. That's what that was. Then I decided to change targets to the A20. Or, no, it's not the A20. No, whatever it was is dead now. Start to go back into a loop. And I see it's A20 diving, and the A20's in the ground attack aircraft as well. I know it can carry bombs or rockets, so keep it away from the ship. And I start to focus him down, like tunnel vision on him, which is something you also never want to really do. You always want to be watching your radar and looking around your aircraft, which if you're like me, most of the time that's with the mouse look, which is C, which lets you just look around in a full 360 view. But here's where, like I said, that guy in the ME410 comes back with vengeance. First round, just kind of does a little bit of damage. I'm like, okay, I can shake it off and keep going. Then his next burst takes my elevator and my rudder. And then three of the teammates take him down. And I decided to cut the video there, because I sat for the next minute and a half watching the chat and laughing myself to death. This is top 7 gear in his P51. And you know, we're just going to call him top 7, because I know throughout this video if I call him top 7 gear, we'll be calling him top gear. And you'll notice he really knows what he's doing with this. As you can also see in the video, that the only real view, well, you may not be able to see it because this is in the replay system, but where it's simulator, the only view you have is from inside the cockpit, the kind of view you would actually have flying around. So just keep that in your mind when you see the kind of stuff he pulls off in this. And you'll notice too with the simulator battles is they take a long time for things to really start kicking off. So if you don't like that in a game, like the thought of spending 5 or 10 minutes flying to an area, climbing to combat altitude, and then fighting for a position to be in to dive on somebody, simulator battles probably aren't going to be your thing in this. Because, you know, it's simulator, it simulates real life. You know, you start going too fast in an aircraft in a dive, your flaps can break off. Your rudder or elevator control can break off. Oh, God forbid your wings break off. I've had that happen. Even in real, that'll happen in realistic too. It'll happen even more in simulator. And apparently this game also came from the EU server, because the objectives were in English, but the map name and like when you tab to bring up the map, none of that's in English. And even like the messages down the bottom, which you also wouldn't get because it's a simulator game, Like down at the bottom where it's like player was shot down by player. That's actually all in what I'm assuming is German. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure. I know somebody's going to tell me, because that's just how my audience is, and I'm glad they do. But like I said, this is in the replay system, which is why you see all the camera movements and stuff like that. And I'm not doing that. This was top 7 from his recorded view after the game. And you can see this is a beautiful game. They put a lot of work and time in this. And there you see the high velocity aircraft rockets, which for a while I forgot existed. And like I said, you can see it takes a long time for stuff to get it going, but we're into the action now. There's an ME-410 up, and you see just how much these 50s just shred aircraft apart. And he almost shredded his teammate apart, which wouldn't have been good. And it's the P51, it's got 6 M2 50 caliber machine guns on them. And from the look of when he was firing, it looks like he's running tracer belts. I might be wrong, but that was an awful lot of tracer for anything else. Which still isn't a bad idea, especially in simulator where you don't have a lead indicator, you don't have anything like that. Is there another enemy? That's the other thing too. Realizing we're simulator, you don't have friend-foe markers. You have to know what's on your team, and you have to be able to identify it. And I don't know what he was firing those rockets at. Maybe he was just firing them to get rid of the drag and the weight on the aircraft. Who knows? But those rockets you can actually see in some of the old combat clips from World War II, those being used in ground attack. And now he sees that aircraft. I don't know if that's friend or foe. Another glorious thing for this. Yeah, that's a BF-109. Now, you can see he really knows what he's doing with this aircraft. Because you've got to know the limits of what the aircraft can and can't do, and how screwed do you think this BF-109 is? He's got 2 Mustangs chasing on him in a dive. And if both of them open up, that's a total of 12 50 caliber machine guns. And you see he keeps checking the speedometer of the aircraft, the in-air speed. He doesn't want to exceed the aircraft's max ability and start ripping his wings off. Now he starts trying to line up that 109. Yeah, there he's got him. He's gonna burn, which is bad for him, good for top 7. You know, that because it fires down who knows what. Maybe it's damaged his elevator, maybe it's damaged his wings, which looks like it's done, which forced him to go down. But you'll notice too, in a lot of the simulator battles,